Hello, it's Rob from Dowdle Family Farms, and I thought I'd show you a little bit today about how we move our cows every day. Before I do, let me just show you how this pasture is set up. What you see behind me is a center corral and what we call the red field. There's also a catch pen there where we can work cattle, treat the sick ones, and get hold of them if we need to. There's a central watering tank. You can see it right here behind me, the blue water tank there, and the cows can come in day after day after day to get their water while they're in this field. Off of this field, there are 7 individual paddocks, each of them ranging from 6 to 8 acres apiece. And then while the cows are in one of those paddocks, we strip graze or rotationally graze. We strip graze it and allow them to get fresh forage every day beyond that. So without further ado, we'll go into the paddock where the cows are and we'll get started there. So this is our paddock where we're moving the cows. You can see behind me the center corral back there where their water is and where all the other paddocks lead off. This is where the cows have had access for the last day. Behind me right over there, they've had access to a small strip there the day before yesterday. So today we will move them to we'll pick up this poly wire right here, and they'll have access to the next strip, and then we'll move this poly wire to the strip behind them and set up tomorrow's paddock as well. This is Buddy right here behind me. He was our first bottle calf. He's almost 2 years old. He's a steer, and he's a good boy. The rest of this herd, far off in the distance, you should be able to see a cow with a calf that's currently nursing. They are the exception. The rest of the cow and the calves are across the road in another field. She just had this calf when we moved the other cows across the road, so she stayed here. But in this paddock, there's a bull, 5 steers, and then about 16 heifers that, and those heifers will either be replacement heifers for our current cows who are getting a little bit older. And then the other heifers, there are some that are a little more excited, and those, it's not that they're crazy necessarily, but they kind of run and jump a little bit more, and we will send those to the processor. We'll finish them out on grass like we're doing here, and then we'll send them out to the processor. I'm going to reverse the camera and allow you to see a little bit of a difference between the forages that we're producing here. So I'm standing in the same spot as I was a moment ago. You can see Buddy right here, number 1, and then you can see these there's the bull, and then there's the little steer calf, Bo, the second bottle calf that we raised right there. If you look, you can see what looks like a lot of grass standing up right here, and there is what looks like a lot of grass. Most of it is coarser stems, like where this fescue has gone to seed. You can see some summer grass is starting to come out, and there's even a little bit of clover and stuff left, but most of what's left, some of it is edible, and the cows would eat it if they were required to. If we left them here longer, they could easily survive for the next couple days with what's available between here and the corral over there. But we're moving them because we have a lot of grass, and we want them to have the best premium forages that they can find. If you look right down here, you can see the grass is still tall, but it's not nearly as thick as what's over here. You can see clovers that we seeded this past fall, trying to improve these pastures. They've had time to go to seed, and there's a little bit, it looks like a lot, but there's a little bit of wheat that we seeded as well. It's been grazed, and it's starting to go to seed. The cows will knock it down, trample it. They may eat a little bit of it, but there's not enough wheat in this paddock for it to really mess with their rumen. So after we move the cows in this whole paddock, this 6 or 8 acre paddock, we'll strip graze it, so they'll still have access to this paddock because they've got to get to the corral over there for their water. But they'll have new grass each day. It'll keep them from overfeeding on stuff that they should not eat, and they'll basically stick to just grazing this strip and just walk through what they've had access to already. They've got about 4 more days in this paddock before we move them to a completely different paddock. In other words, we'll strip graze this paddock over there to the edge of the woods for another 4 days, maybe 3 days. It depends on how it goes. The forage toward the end of the woods, there's not as much clover and there's not as much premium forage there, so those sizes of the paddock that we give them will be a little bit larger, but they'll have access to the best of these forages. When they get off of this paddock entirely, we will come through with a bush hog and we'll knock all of what's left down. Most of it will be the seed pods from the fescue. This fescue here is a tall fescue which has an endophyte, which reduces animal performance. So if we knock the seed heads down, it'll improve its forage quality some, and it'll also knock out some of the stuff. Like this is broom sedge. If we left the cows here long enough, they would eat it. It's kind of purplish right now. They would eat it. It doesn't provide a whole lot of nutrition for them, but we'll mow to knock down the broom sedge and to allow the clovers and these summer grasses like that, what looks like crabgrass there, to come on through so that the summer grasses will improve. So I'll set up the camera, roll up the wire, and let you see how the cows move into the paddock now. So I've got this set up. I'll walk over, roll up that wire, and you can see the cows running in. Very simple process, takes very little time. So in those 7 minutes, I rolled up the old wire, the cows moved into the new paddock, and I set up the paddock for tomorrow. It takes a little bit less time most of the time, but even then, in 10 minutes or so a day, or less, it's easy to just rotate the cows. They get better forage, and they perform much better on the pasture. So this is how we rotate our cows daily. It improves the soil, it improves the animal performance, and this is how we get truly grass finished, not just grass fed beef. The cows finish much better when they have premium forages to eat, and there's no need for the grains and the problems with the rumen and other things that come along with grain finishing the animals. Anyway, this is how we do it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.